As I think, my name is Shankar Subramanian, and this is Vasu. I'll just tell you a little bit about how I stumbled into appreciative inquiry. I learned appreciative inquiry as a discipline, as a change management methodology at NTL. NTL, some of you must have heard, NTL Institute for Applied Behavioral Science in the US. That was way back in 1997. But I learned it like any other technique, and many of us attend many conferences and learn many new techniques, and so I started saying that okay, whenever I get a chance to use it, I will use it in my work. And I learned many other techniques like open space and future search. These are all different change management methods. When I came back to India, I was in the US for about 7 years, and I came back to India in 2000, and that's where I got a chance to work with Sion Hospital in Bombay, where Vasu was a professor. So I was doing this work with this hospital on change management, and there were groups of about 50 odd doctors and nurses and all these people come in, and then we were looking at how to make this hospital a more patient-friendly hospital. That was the project. The sessions went off very well, and the people were very happy. They identified all the issues, what is going on and what is wrong, what is, all that. And they came out with a set of action plans as to how to fix some of those issues. But at the end of the day, when I asked people as to, okay, who's going to do all this? Okay. They looked around here and there and said, not us, but somebody else. Okay. As if the cause of whatever is happening is not with them, and who can fix the whole thing is also not them. So the sense of ownership and responsibility for the change was not to be seen. So at the end of the day, when I used to go back home, I used to feel very bad that, all that is great, but then, nothing is going to happen here. So I was myself personally feeling not very positive about the organization. But I know that I have taken up a contract and I have to do this again and again. Then I thought that maybe I should try out appreciative inquiry, because I have learned this technique somewhere. And then the next session, I used appreciative inquiry. And people started telling stories about when they were at their best, when things worked, when they really did jobs which were much beyond what they themselves thought that they can do. And when that 50 people room, people started sharing those stories, people started crying. And, they could say that, look, despite all these things that is going on, despite all the difficulties, despite the fact that, this bureaucracy, there is so much of difficulty in public hospital system in the country, despite all that, people are doing fantastic work. And people are, saving so many lives. That really touched me. And I said, look, here is a system, here is a set of people who are doing fantastic work. And only when something go wrong, the newspapers reported front page saying, somebody died because of doctor's negligence, this, that. But 99, cases of people being rescued and, people survive and people live and, people grow. That never gets published. Nobody talks about it. I think that was the turning point in my life, and I started looking at that system. And when I started looking at that system saying, wow, something works here. And I saw that something started working there. So it was more than the change in their minds, it was a change in my mind that I saw started contributing to making something happen. So to me, that was the beginning of this whole journey in appreciative inquiry. Of course, then I started to kind of get appreciative inquiry as part of my philosophy and not just as a technique. And today, the focus that we are going to have is to look at appreciative inquiry as a philosophy of life and not just the tools. I suppose the tools you can always learn going to the internet. There are enough sites available to tell you, but we'll look at the philosophy of AI. And of course, AI also brought me to her, and we fell in love, we got married, so all of that. So appreciative inquiry has really become part of our life. So in that sense, so that's just the beginning that I want to say. You want to say something?
Okay. First I will say welcome to everybody, and it's great to be here. Thank you, Suma, for inviting us. So that's the reason we are here, because we've been invited by Suma. And It just struck me that we met each other at a workshop many years ago, and I think that's when I first heard about Life Positive as a magazine, and it's always kind of coming from a very scientific background of allopathic medicine, and where everything else is not even considered. It's not anywhere on your horizon. I think my journey has been to understand that there is so much that we don't know. And Life Positive and meeting Suma has made, also contributed to that, because I didn't even know many of these things existed in the world other than just medicine. So the whole journey with appreciative inquiry, besides whatever Shankar said, has also for me been shifted my whole understanding of what healing is about, and the whole focus changed from medicine, which is typically very curative, to understanding that there's much more, and there's a whole healing aspect to it, and everything doesn't have to be fixed, and everything doesn't have to be perfect, and it's okay. And that's what the whole philosophy of appreciative inquiry, or the whole philosophy of appreciating what is, and can we just value what exists, rather than always trying to be on this quest for perfectionism. And it's also been very freeing for me then, because then you're okay with who you are. You're not trying to be somebody else all the time. So that's been my journey, and I don't do clinical medicine anymore. I'm a pediatrician by profession, but I do work more towards preventive work so we're looking at the work I do is largely focused on maternal neonatal care, but looking at preventive aspects of it. Also, I think it's allowed us to bring in the more traditional practices and say they're okay, and not have people not do them. And it's been very rewarding work, and like Shankar said, it's become a way of life, and it just gets into everything that we do. And I hope, that's what we will attempt today, because we were looking at when we were designing this program, and we said that it's about Life Positive and the whole celebration of wellness. And so we'll look at the philosophy and how that applies to life. And yes, like Shankar said, we'll cover a little bit on how you can use it as a technique, but that is really very simple. I think if one understands what goes behind it, the rest of it is a cakewalk. It's no big deal. And if we do it like that without understanding the philosophy, then it remains just a technique or a tool, and you could use anything else and you'll end up with the same results. So the beauty of that is that will be our focus, in trying to understand and have all of us engaged into that philosophy and understanding.